God is awful. This is a sentence that will have the old ladies clutching at their pearls. This is a statement that will have the villagers lighting up their torches and raising their pitchforks because how dare you speak so ill of God? You see, I'm a nerd. In my free time, I like to flip through the dictionary just looking at random words and seeing what they mean. It seems that most people tend to settle on the first definition of most words, not realizing that a lot of words have many different definitions, a lot of which being completely unrelated, you know? So let's define the word awful. Before we get into a textbook definition of the word, let's just break it down. Full of awe. So you can already see where I'm going with this. How is that a bad thing to call God awful? To call God, the creator of all, the all-knowing, omnipresent entity, full of awe. The word awe being defined as being in deep reverence, having a deep respect for something, usually in the presence of something majestic and powerful, right? But the other part of that same definition, though, is like when you're in the presence of this great and powerful entity, you may get a sense of dread. Dread is synonymous with the word fear, which is why I always ask people, what do you mean by you're a God-fearing man? As I learned from Dick Gregory, fear and God can't exist in the same place. But what definition are you using? Are you using the first, most commonly used definition with the word fear, where it means to be afraid of, to be scared of something? Well, that never made sense to me. My God is loving. My God is generous. My God with just a fraction of its power can give me more than what I asked for. So why would I be quaking in my boots in the sense of fear, of scaredness, afraidness, when you can use the other definition of the word, which is to consider something probable, to expect something. So when I say I'm a God-fearing man, I'm a God-expecting man. I'm expecting God to rain abundance in my life because I know what God is, at least in my definition and my understanding and my journey with understanding God at a deeper level. It says in the Bible, do you not know that Jesus Christ is within you? Unless, of course, you fail the test. What's the test? Knowing that God, that awful power, to command that power that commands awe, that commands that deep reverence from its utilizers, from its obeyers, from its followers, from whatever. That power resides within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. This is what the Bible keeps saying over and over and over. But the thing is, when people are faced with the responsibility of knowing that you are indeed awful because the originator of everything resides within you, a lot of people run away from that responsibility. And when they misuse this power, they're wondering why the world doesn't look the way they want. God's supposed to do this. God's supposed to do that. You must not be working. No, God's fake. God isn't real. God isn't listening to me. God isn't. And because God is so majestic, so powerful, he can give you whatever it is that you want. So whatever it is that you affirm, God isn't there for me. God is ignoring me. God doesn't love me. He just says yes. Because it's within his infinite storehouse to give you whatever it is that you proclaim. So if you say that God has abandoned you, he will give you that experience because he is infinite. He can give you whatever it is that you ask for. And whatever you utter from your mouth, it's like the pen is mightier than the sword. The things that you spell out, the things that you write down, the things that you write with your words is what materializes, because God is an immaterial thing that materializes for our little slow, insignificant brains to understand. You see? But when you realize that you have to use this power accordingly, you have to use this power properly, like a gun, right? A gun could be pointed at somebody, it could be pointed at the ceiling, or it could be pointed at yourself. How are you going to use the power that we are all blessed with from birth? You point a gun at someone, you take somebody's life. That comes with its own consequences. You point the gun at the ceiling and shoot it. Everyone ducks down and scatters. That's one way to do it. You point the gun at yourself, you fill in the blanks. When you realize that you have this power, you shouldn't run away from it. You shouldn't quake in the sense of being afraid of that power. When I first realized that God is within me, and through that connotation, I am God, through that statement that Neville Goddard taught me, the Father and I are one, but he is greater than I. I realize I am God. And it's up to me to use that greater power, that awful power within me to create the life that I want that's beneficial to myself and those around me. I quake in my boots because of that anticipation, that expectation, that even a fraction of God's power is more than I could ever ask for. So I do not back down from the statement that God is awful, because he is. Till the next one.